Hi guys, welcome to Brandix Reviews. Today I'm going to be talking about Jessica Jones Series 1, which dropped on Netflix on the 20th of November 2015. Now today is actually the 4th of December, so it's taken me 2 weeks to watch this. I've just finished watching the last episode tonight. Now, I'm off work this week, so I've had time to actually watch more of these episodes than I usually would have done, because I prefer to stagger these things out. So 13 episodes in this series, 50 minutes for each episode. So if you're going to binge watch these, that'd be about half a day. The reason I'm kind of getting into my personal viewing pattern of this is I prefer to stagger it over 2 weeks. So 13 episodes over 2 weeks is about one episode a day. The series is actually made by Netflix and obviously released exclusively through Netflix. And what they do is, I'm sure you're already aware, but I'll just briefly kind of talk about this. They drop the episodes, all 13 episodes, boom, dropped in one night. So they're there straight away to watch, unlike TV shows that air usually week to week. So something like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., for example, will air week to week. I know sometimes there are bigger gaps than that, well, quite bigger gaps between episodes, but let's just say for argument's sake, one a week. Netflix, you've got the option to binge watch them because they just give you the whole lot in one go. So it's designed that if you want to do that, you can, because the episodes follow on. If you've seen the Daredevil series, which was dropped back in April by Netflix, which is also part of this canon with Jessica Jones, which is a larger scale canon with all the Avengers tie-in movies. If you didn't know that, that's confirmed. It's part of the universe, Marvel Cinematic Universe. But as I say, it's 13 episodes, so you can binge watch them all in one night, because they're aware that people do that. Otherwise, you can stagger it out at your own leisure. I personally, like I say, decided to do it over the course of 2 weeks. Now, what can I say? I love this series. I thought it was great. And coming from me, that's an endorsement, because I'm not a big fan of TV shows, generally speaking, particularly when they have been kind of spun off from the movies. There are some exceptions, ones that I've liked, like Highlander, the series had its moments, and it had quite a lot of good moments in that series. When it came out, let's just put it that way, and a lot of people kind of hated on it, but it was its own thing, and it was effectively a spin-off of the movies. It was canon with the movies. I mean, you can say it had a lot of contradictions, but the movies themselves within each other had contradictions. The Marvel Cinematic Universe span off its own series with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Agent Carter, because it took characters from the movies and gave them their own TV show. What Netflix have done very cleverly is they have created their TV shows from the ground up. No characters from the films are in the series as far as I'm aware. I might have blinked and missed them if there are any. I don't believe there are. They've taken characters and built them from the ground up and said, these characters are in that universe, but you don't really see much of a crossover in any way, the character-wise or story-wise. There are references. Some people call them Easter eggs, but I think Easter eggs are kind of like hidden things. There are in-your-face references in these shows, but they're few and far between. I know that's something that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. gets criticised for. They reference Iron Man this, Thor that, and it's kind of annoying because, like, it feels cheap, because it's like, well, where are they then? If this show is canon with us, show us the characters, don't just kind of tease us. I don't buy that this show is set in the same universe until you do that. They have done it in some cases, to be fair. Like Nick Fury was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Lady Sif and a few others. And Series 3's kind of had like Gideon Malik played by Powers Booth, which is great. He was in the Avengers movie. Had them in the series, but whereas the Netflix ones haven't done that. But because they're so good, it doesn't matter that the shows stand up. They've given references to events, like the events of, well, I think it's really only just the events of Avengers Assemble, in the Battle of New York in that film that came out in 2012, because that was in New York, and the Daredevil series and Jessica Jones series are set in New York, so obviously it's had a fundamental impact on their world. But the references weren't too major, let's put it that way. they've referenced some of the characters like Hulk got a bit of a mention and Captain America, but they didn't mention them by name. It was usually that big green guy or that walking flag, obviously Captain America reference. So it's connected if you want it to be. If you don't want it to be, you can kind of ignore any references. So let's just praise it for what it is. The characters. Let's talk about the characters individually. Jessica Jones, played by Krysten Ritter. She's a private eye, private detective. She has superpowers which are fairly basic. She's very strong, which means she can lift heavy objects that a person of her size couldn't do. But she's also she's able to jump very high. Now, with a lot of TV shows, they would milk that. They would every 5 minutes have them doing something where it's throwing somebody through a wall or jumping over something or whatever that's ridiculously big that no human could do, because that's what you want to see. In this, they really toned it down, and if there were sometimes when she would jump up something, but you wouldn't see her doing it. You just kind of see a balcony, and she just kind of jumps from over it. And we know obviously there's a big drop, so we know she's jumped quite high, but you didn't see the jump. You just kind of saw that. You know what I mean? I don't think that was budgetary reasons necessarily. I think it was just because that wasn't what the show is about. The show is about her character and all that stuff. Although it's important from a storytelling point of view, they've made it tertiary. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's plenty of stuff where you do get to see her displaying her powers, but they don't need to to throw it in your face all the time. Otherwise, it'd be kind of boring if they didn't show it at all. And then you would be saying, well, hang on, she's got these powers, where are they then? So it was tastefully done in the context of the show that they've made, and I was very happy with that. And that's something that other people have praised as well. So I think that's something that if you haven't seen the show yet, I think you'll pick up on that when you're watching it. But again, her a performance from her is really good. I know some people have kind of slated her kind of story arc, that her character doesn't really go anywhere and she's still the same person at the end of the series that she's at the beginning. So what? Does a character have to have come full circle necessarily? A lot of characters don't in films. A lot of them will end the same way they kind of started out. And don't forget, this is only series 1. I mean, she could come full circle later on, but she's effectively an anti-hero. And she's very kind of flawed. She's got vulnerabilities as well, and it's kind of tricky as well when it's a female superhero, effectively, because a lot of the time, I don't know, female superheroes on screen can be a bit tricky. Nothing against women at all. In this, it works. So that's my kind of endorsement of her as an actress playing this part, but also the part itself. So really great, gripping, performance. I'm not going to try every character, so let's just kind of pick a few here. Luke Cage, really happy with the guy that played Luke Cage. If you're not familiar with him, let's just say he's very tough, and he's got pretty much impenetrable skin as well. And his character wasn't a letdown. I'm a big fan of Luke Cage. I've read a lot of comics that he's appeared in, so I had expectations going into this, and I was not disappointed. Now he's getting his own TV series spin-off from this. That's not internet rumour, that is happening. It's next year. Look it up on IMDb. There's a cast. They've named some of the episode titles. Again, it's a Netflix thing. It's 13 episodes long. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. Finally, I'm going to talk a little bit about the Purple Man, played by David Tennant. He's also known as Kilgrave. Now, in the comics, the Purple Man is purple. He isn't in the series. There's one moment where he's kind of getting a bit stressed, in the last episode, and you can see he's got purple veins kind of appearing, but overall it's more that he wears purple, so that's why he's kind of referred to as that. And his power is very much if you've seen an episode of the X-Files, you'll know what I mean. An episode called Pusher. I think he came back for another episode as well, as he's in 2 episodes of that. And he basically has this power where he can tell you to do something, and you have to do it, and you don't want to do it while you're doing it. So he can make you cut your own throat, and you don't want to be doing it, but you have to do it because he's told you, and that's the power he's got over you. So he's making me do it now, just thinking about it. But from what I understand, in the X-Files it was just the voice, so he could ring you up and speak to you and do it. I think in the series, the Well, that was a completely different character, by the way, but it's the same power. In Jessica Jones, the Purple Man has to be in sort of close proximity to you, because I think it's pheromonal, if that's the word. Well, it's to do with pheromones anyway. That's what I've read anyway in the comics. I don't think they said that in the series, but he does have to be in close kind of proximity to you, and he tells you to do something and you do it. Now, I think part of the problem... In fact, I'll get into the problem issue, but played brilliantly anyway. I'm not a big David Tennant fan. In fact, I've never seen him in anything. I know he was Doctor Who. I didn't watch any of those Doctor Who's. I'm not a big fan of the since he brought it back about 10 years ago. It just feels like children's television to me, because I used to watch the old ones and I really like them. So I wasn't a big fan of David Tennant. I'm not just slaying Doctor Who for the sake of it. Point is, I'm not going into this biased as, oh, I love David Tennant, he's great as anything. I wasn't. I kind of wasn't really happy when I saw him casted in this, because I don't like Doctor Who, so I don't really like David Tennant. I don't like the kind of performance that he's going to give, because it's going to be all, I'm the wacky doctor, but it's going to be, I'm the wacky purple man, which to a certain extent he is, but he's awesome. Such a great villain as well. The Marvel Cinematic Universe does get kind of criticised a lot for its villains not being all that great sometimes. There are some good ones, like Loki, very similar to Loki in a lot of ways. But this one, he delivers. Again, I've heard a lot of criticism about the Purple Man, like, oh, he's one-dimensional, he's got no like real motive, he's just a psycho. So what? He's great. He's a great performance. It's a pleasure to watch. But anyway, as I was going to kind of say before, the problem with a character and a performance like the one we get in this, very similar to Loki, when you've got a villain who is evil. Loki is an evil bastard. You know, look all the stuff that he did, but we love him. Remember back to Thor: The Dark World, when he got killed. I mean, as it turned out, he wasn't actually dead, but we thought for a while that he was. It was horrible. We was like, oh no, don't kill him off. We love him, even though he's a bastard. You don't want him to die or anything. You kind of want to see him get his comeuppance, but put him in prison. Make him suffer that way. And well, we saw him in prison. And we kind of felt sorry for him because he's lovable. So you've got a kind of dichotomy there, which can be good and it can work. It's not. I'm sure they're aware of that when they write these stories. But I think to a certain extent, you kind of need to see how evil they are. You need to see the repercussions of what they do. And this kind of takes me on to my next point. The problem with the Purple Man kind of takes me on to another point. There's a lot of swearing, a lot of violence, and a lot of sex in this TV series, particularly a lot of swearing and violence. And the question is, when you see it, and they do it quite a bit, are they doing it just for the sake of being edgy, because they can do it, and they're just kind of trying to do something and make it a bit more, kind of push the boundaries a bit for the sake of it? With the gore and the violence in this, I think it's necessary because, like I say, going back to the problem with a character like the Purple Man, he's evil. I mean, he's a rapist, effectively. And they even say that in the show. But at the same time, the delivery, the performance that you're getting by David Tennant is similar to Loki. He's lovable. He's a fan favourite, let's just put it that way. So it's tricky because you kind of need to, depending on how you want the audience to feel, you kind of need the evil deeds to be seen. You need the repercussions of their evil deeds to be seen. So whereas in like the Marvel films, where you'd have like Loki kill somebody, he'll have his like spear of destiny that you saw, and he'll like blast somebody with it, but it'll be kind of cartoony, and they'll just blast him and they'll fall down. There's a bit where he stabs Coulson, for example. That was one bit where you did actually see, the repercussions. You saw a blade coming out of him, and there's blood. They actually edited that out of the Blu-ray version in the UK. I don't know if they did that in America. So you didn't see the blade coming out of Coulson. So as evil as they kind of try to make that character, he's not evil in the audience's mind. The Purple Man, I think they wanted him to be seen as evil, so they had to show the gore, they had to show the repercussions. So when you have him, say, do something that results in somebody getting their arms and legs chopped off, in the movies they probably would just kind of show it in the background. It's kind of suggested, but you don't really see it, or you'll see it, but it's briefly. In the TV show, in Jessica Jones, if it's somebody who's had their arms and legs cut off, you'll see the stump, you'll see the bone sticking out, you'll see the blood spraying. So I think it was kind of necessary to show the gore from that point of view, because otherwise he would have been too likeable, he would have been less intimidating. And like I say, it's pretty much said he's a rapist. When he has a backstory with Jessica Jones, kind of before the series starts. There is a backstory there. And he was making her have sex with him by telling her to have sex with him. And that is rape, and she flat out calls him a rapist. He doesn't take too kindly to it when he says that. From his point of view, he didn't know whether she wanted to do it or not. I don't think he really cared, but he kind of assumed that she wanted to do it. So he kind of has a get out there. But effectively, that's what he is. So I think they wanted him to be a bit more... I think they wanted you to feel him as evil a bit more than you would, say, Loki, who is a bit more you're a bit more sympathetic to. So again, great obstacle getting around thing there that they did, because like I said, there's a problem with a character like that you make so lovable and so kind of that you sympathise with and a fan favourite, but at the same time you want him to be seen as evil. So the gore side of it I think was necessary. There was swearing in the series quite a bit, quite heavy swearing. But again, it wasn't something that I don't think they did it too much for the sake of, let's make it edgy. The sex side of things, I think it was a bit too excessive, to be honest. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not a prude or anything. I mean, there was a lot of sex in it, but there was no, female nudity because they were, trying to be edgy, but they weren't quite edgy enough to show, any of the good stuff. So, by definition, I'm not prude, because it's I don't mind seeing sex, but just show us some of the good stuff, Some quite fit lasses in this, and you see them having sex. Quite close. I mean, you can see the face. You can see her face while she's finishing, pretty much. But then they don't show us any of the good stuff. So they're cock teasing us, basically. Just the woes of a guy, watching this show, I guess. And it was, it felt excessive but unnecessary as well. Because whereas with the gore stuff, like I say, it was necessary to kind of portray the characters as evil. The sex was just kind of thrown out there for the sake of hey, we've got a really edgy show here. But that was just an observation anyway. So what else can I say? There's one other character I need to mention. Before I forget this. There's a character in the last episode. This was something I really liked. A character called Claire Temple, who is kind of an amalgam of two characters from the comics, Claire Temple and Night Nurse. She's basically a nurse that helps superhero characters medically when they need it. And she was in the Daredevil series in quite a lot of episodes. You'll remember her, she was played by Rosario Dawson. If you've seen the Daredevil series, you can't forget her. She was in a lot of episodes. She was in the last episode of Series 1. And from what I understand, she's going to be in some of the other series as well coming up, like the Luke Cage series. Because she helps Luke Cage in the last episode. She's similar to her introduction as Claire Temple in the comics, which was something that happened in the 60s. She kind of came into it by helping Luke Cage, so again something kind of based on the comics there. So yeah, played by Rosario Dawson. So it was great that they've definitely crossed Daredevil over with Jessica Jones. I mean, we know it's canon anyway, but they kind of needed to cross things over there just to kind of demonstrate how it crosses over. Now, next up, we're going to get Daredevil Series 2, which I assume will be sometime around about springtime. I can't remember when that's coming out, but I assume it'll be February, March, April next year. So the next few months. There is a trailer for that, and really pleased that they're bringing in John Bernthal as the Punisher, because I've been wanting to see the Punisher in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, be it on TV or in the movies. I'm actually glad they're doing it on TV, because the way they've got the TVs where they can have all this violence and stuff, you need to have Punisher doing that. If they'd have put him in the movies, it would have been toned down, because obviously they have to get bums on the seats, which includes 13, 14, 15-year-olds. They have to make money from them watching. So if they have a Punisher, they're going to have to tone it down. Put in a TV series where they can have the gore and swearing and, show them having sex, but show the female nudity if they're going to do that, for God's sake. But yeah, no, that's the best place for the Punisher anyway, basically. They're also going to have an Iron Fist TV series as well. And then they're going to do a Defenders TV series, which is kind of like what they did with the Avengers, where you've got all the superheroes, establish them on their own, and then put them in a team franchise TV series. The Defenders, which is like the team franchise movie, the Avengers, when they establish the characters individually in the movies, put them all together in the films. That's where they're going with this TV series. And I'm really looking forward to that. I was just watching Chris Stuckman's review just before I did this one, just to kind of see what other people were saying. And he made a really good point. Like this year, he was looking forward to just Marvel stuff. Just he thought the best of it would be Avengers: Age of Ultron and Ant-Man. Well, in his opinion, it's actually Daredevil and Jessica Jones. I don't know if I agree with that because I'm a tougher sell when it comes to TV shows, but I can definitely see that, and that from coming from me, that means a lot because, like I say, I'm a tough sell when it comes to TV shows, particularly when it's something grafted with movies which are ultimately big and epic. I think that's what's great about these Netflix series. It kind of reminds you in this world of, you know, gods and super soldiers and Hulks and Iron Mans and all that kind of stuff. Small lives matter because behind everything that's happened in those movies, you know, what's going on down there, you know. And this TV series shows you all that stuff. So it's great. I'm really enjoying it. I need to go back and watch the Daredevil series one. I haven't done a review of that because it came out at a time I was in a relationship. I didn't really get to watch them all within a close amount of time. I kind of staggered it over a couple of months, I believe, from memory. And when I was watching, I was usually texting. She girlfriend would be asking where I am, all that kind of stuff. It's like, I'm watching this really good series, but yeah, whatever. You know what it's like. You don't have time for these kind of things. So I think I need to go back and really watch Daredevil again and concentrate on it. Hopefully these will be out on Blu-ray. I know with it being Netflix, they want to leave it a while because they want people to go on the website, use their service, pay for it and stuff. Which is worth it because I mean I've got a Netflix account that I share with a friend, and it's really great watching these in like HD and stuff. Compared to like normal TV shows, unless you've got that set up. But yeah, anyway, if you bring it on Blu-ray soon enough, I think it was after about a year after they've been released, so I assume Daredevil Series 1 will be on Blu-ray sometime early on next year. So I'll probably do a review of that as and when. I think I've rambled a bit now. How long's my video? Let's just check. Right, I'm going to have to cut this off because it's like well over 22 minutes. I was hoping this would be like 10 minutes, so sorry about that. If you're still watching, if you haven't turned me off 10 minutes ago because my rambling on about female nudity and stuff, I'll just say I'm going to leave it there. If you want to check out brandxreviews.com, there's plenty of other reviews. I talk about Marvel stuff quite a lot, so if you are still watching this, you haven't checked out yet, go to brandxreviews.com. There's some information coming up and how you can follow us on social media. So for now, I'm going to leave it there and say thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Hi guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Just so you know, for more news, reviews and retrospectives, you can like our page on Facebook, simply called Brand X Reviews. But as well as that, you can also subscribe to us on YouTube via this video. You can also bookmark our website, which is brandxreviews.com, which is pretty much a central hub for everything that I've just mentioned. So check that out and we will see you next time. Thank you very much.